Hey guys, my name is Clay Marsh. I'm one of the founding partners of Real Street Performance, and over the past 10 years I've spent most of my time behind the camera with a couple of brief cameos for some of the videos that you've seen me in.
I forgot to put it in sport mode. Traction control was on. Now he left on 2, that was 2. Now I'm pretty sure I was spinning 5th gear. Everyone knows it's 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
We started this company when I was in college, and I skipped a lot of the phases that car guys go through, and I skipped right over the Honda phase. Now that I have the chance to, I'm going through my Honda guy phase. Some of you have seen my white Civic hatch that we're doing an all-wheel drive sequential build on. I went and also picked up this 2001 GSR Integra. She's not a beauty queen. She needs some love, quite a bit of work, but it was bone stock as far as the engine and transmission and all that goes. So the first thing that I wanted to do was try to update it a little bit and make it tighter and make it drive nicer and more like a newer car. So what I did now was I got a package put together of hybrid racing stuff, K-tune stuff, and some KW coilovers. We're gonna replace all the suspension in this car, try to tighten it up a little bit and make it drive a little bit nicer, and we're gonna document that today.
I was excited when Clay sent me pictures of the car when he got it, because as you know, Integras are getting very hard to find, especially an original GSR. It has a little bit over 100,000 miles, so I hope the suspension stuff is still in good shape to take apart because we want to complete this project today. Clay has some TE37s, which are the OG versions. I'm excited because I have OG versions on my Integra, and these were very hard to find. I mean, they're on backorder, you can't even get them. So the combo between all these parts are gonna float together really nicely. So let's get started.
So since we're updating all of the suspension on this Integra, I went through and did as much K-tuned suspension control arm replacement stuff as I could. All of this stuff I went with was the spherical bearing option. It gets rid of the rubber and the urethane. I didn't want to go urethane. I'm going to be tracking this car a little bit on like road race courses and autocross, stuff like that. So I wanted to make it handle really good. Time will tell if I regret going with spherical bearings on everything, but we'll see. I'm going to do all this K-tune stuff is going to go on today. The shifter I'm going to update with the solid hybrid racing bushings. I'm going to put the hybrid racing shifter in there with the decorative plate and their shift knob. And then I ended up going with KW V3 coilovers because I had these on previous cars that I've owned, not Hondas, but I had them on some other cars that I owned, and I really liked the way that they rode compared to some of the other coilovers that I've used over the years. I've never had these on a Honda before. This is gonna be my first Honda with V3s, and it actually took me a while to get them, so this must not be a popular part number for Honda guys. But I think that I'm gonna be happy with this decision, and I'll make sure to follow up with a video of some performance and handling stuff. But let's go ahead and get the stock stuff off and start getting this stuff on.
This car had over 150,000 miles on it, so a lot of the bolts didn't want to come right out. We had to spray a lot of lube, we had to work them back and forth quite a bit. Only a couple bolts broke. A lot of this stuff eventually made its way out, and you could see that a lot of the bushings and a lot of the rubber was just deteriorated and cracked. We ended up going with some extended ball joints to fix the steering angle so we didn't have a really bad bump steer problem when we lowered it. The compliance bushings in this car were completely torn. The rubber had a big tear in it all the way around the metal. This is not a super exciting modification for most people, so it often gets overlooked, but it was definitely time to replace these. We worked our way through piece by piece, replacing the factory control arms and other pieces with the K-tune stuff with the spherical bearings. When you see them side by side, you can really see the difference between the rubber bushings and the spherical bearings. The spherical bearings don't have any play in it, but it directly transmits all the force without any wiggle or anything. I really liked how the K-Tune camber adjustment was reachable even when it's installed in the car. The KW suspension went in really easy. There was no hiccups there. I'm excited to see how a KW V3 feels in an Integra. My stock shifter really wasn't in that bad a shape. It felt pretty good. At least I thought it did until I felt the hybrid racing shifter. The bearings that they use in the hybrid racing shifter are really crisp. There's like zero play in it. And then also when we did the hard bushing in the front, that really took the rest of the play out of it. The shifting experience got a lot better. I really like that you can change the height of the shifter as well as the pivot point from inside the car. You can make the throw short, but the shift knob high. That's how I prefer to ride. I want the shift knob to be close to the steering wheel. You get a lot of options with this. You can really make it exactly how you want. It was definitely an improvement I recommend to others. For those of you that don't know me, I have a thing for bronze TE37s. I have to put them on every car I own. I was really lucky to find a used set for this car, and I couldn't be happier with the way that it looks.
All right, the car is complete. I love the way it looks and I love the way it drives. Handles really well now. We got the car aligned. We rolled the fenders. We did that because the tires are pretty aggressive. They're a 225/45 tire, pretty aggressive for the stock fenders. Overall, I'm happy with it. Can't wait to take this to the track. Next up, we have some other mods. We're gonna change the steering wheel with the quick release setup. We're gonna change the seat, add some harnesses to it. That way, when we take it to the track, it's gonna feel a lot better. And we have some sway bars to install, front and rear, to give it less roll and let it perform better. So stay tuned for the next videos. Appreciate you guys watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. See you in the next one.